Welcome to the Cinema So Far podcast. And if this is your first time, which is it's our first time, this is the first episode. But what we're here to do is talk about movies and TV shows, things that we love. The tagline of the show is "Good friends talk about great cinema." So we got a lot of my homies here, and just really stoked to talk to you guys about some movies. Awesome. Today we're going to cover Weapons, which is a movie that came out this year, 2025. It's directed by Zach Krieger and has a lot of people in it. Maybe people that you guys recognize, maybe a lot of new faces, not sure, but that's the movie that we decided to watch for this first episode. So yeah. I'll go ahead and get it started by just saying that my name is James, and we have a few friends here, and we're going to just kind of mix it up as we go through every episode. So why don't we just start off by everyone just kind of saying who they are, and if you want to go first, say your name and just what you think of the movie, Weapons.
Yeah, man. I'll kick it off. My name is Sydney, and I really enjoyed Weapons. I was pleasantly surprised because the trailer, I was not interested until you suggested it. I was like, okay, now I have to watch it. And It was so good. I would have never watched it if you didn't suggest it. So pleasantly surprised for sure.
That's funny because I was hooked when I saw that trailer. I remember going to the theater and then just seeing it, and my wife and I looked at each other just like, we're definitely gonna go see that one.
Yeah, I was not about the zombie kids in school. I was like, what is this? But it's took a turn, for the better.
All right, who wants to go next?
I'm Alex. And was there anything else I needed to start with? Just the name? And then
sure, just the name, and then you saw the movie for the first time, what, yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it last night. Actually, it was a quick turnaround, but I enjoyed it. I already was kind of familiar with Zach Krieger's the movie he did, Barbarian, which I also kind of really liked. So it was on my radar. I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I thought this was a perfect excuse to watch it, and so I did take a few different notes, but yeah, I mean, I think what I liked about it just off the bat was I think it had really tight camera work. I really like the kind of like the faded 1980s opening name card. That was kind of cool, and the little triangle kind of, it was a little Easter egg kind of thing going on. And yeah, I mean, there's so much more I could say about it, but just off the bat, that was kind of what I liked about it. And then the story was very well written, and I liked that it was non-linear, but it was cohesive.
Yeah, and were you watching it at night, because I think you texted me at midnight or something?
Oh
yeah, you watched it.
I got the baby to bed, and as I was watching in the pitch black, so it was nice.
That must have been a crazy experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the TV was my TV's going out, my big TV, and I'm like, I should really rather watch this on the laptop. So it was this close to my face.
In your face.
Yeah.
With headphones too?
Yeah, with these. Yeah, I had a noise canceling. I was immersed.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
All right.
Love
and then anybody else? Who else saw this movie?
I'm Sean, and I actually saw it for the first time last night as well, alongside Alex. So I might be the unpopular opinion. Yeah, in the dark as well at night. Tried to do it right. And look, I might be the unpopular opinion of the odd man out here. I thought the first half, it started strong. I was into it. I was really engaged and enjoying it. Second half completely fell apart. Just didn't like it. That's just my opinion. So we'll get into it later, and I have some reasons for that. But nonetheless, it was still a fun flick.
I partly agree. I like the way that it ended, but it definitely was to me a lot more appealing. Kind of, the end was whoa.
Yep.
My name's Paul. I saw Weapons on Sunday afternoon, and my reaction to it is, really? I'm totally in agreement with Sean. First half, I was like, okay, yeah, let's see what's going on. The second half was they just took something and just said, let's end it. But I did like the zombie kids. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was pretty rad.
So it kind of brought me back a little bit, but yeah.
And you guys say zombies, but it's like they were technically
it's like
under a
witchcraft,
spell
yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, not to be a nerd about it, but the original zombies were from White Zombie, and they were people that were taken over by spells. They weren't like walking corpses. So
There you go.
They would be zombies.
Still in line with the lore.
Yeah.
way to be a nerd about it. But yeah, that's
Nice.
perfect, dude. Yeah, because it's like this movie was kind of divisive, like you guys are saying. Like, I like the premise, I like horror movies, but I don't understand, the end and.
It was so stupid, dude. I'm gonna
I'm
be
glad I'm not the only one.
the downer. Like, it made absolutely no sense.
Well,
And
I'm
it was
glad
like,
I'm glad
let's
I'm not the
just
only one that
throw something else in here so we can wrap it up.
So,
Okay.
Travis, you want to hop in with your intro?
Yeah, and Trav here, the producer, and I did not watch the weapons or the weapons.
Okay, so based on what you've heard so far, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I watched the first half of a spoiler show, so I could see a little bit about what was going on. Because I don't really typically watch a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna have to get back in the swing of it. But I was like, if it's like super creepy or gore or something, I don't really watch them. But
a little bit of both.
this one sounds different now, and I'll probably go watch it.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't spoil it too much for you with this
It
conversation.
doesn't matter to me.
but
It's all good.
yeah, you don't care about spoilers that
Still
much.
good.
right?
I just watch for the entertainment.
But it's so cool that you guys have different opinions because I feel like that's the whole thing. Like, we're not movie critics. We're not really trying to say like this is all the meaning behind everything and this is what the background is. We just want to talk about whether we liked it or didn't like it and maybe what we liked or didn't like. So this is cool. Can we all just go around and maybe give the context? Because I love how we were talking about Alex and his context of like he's on a laptop, with headphones on when he's watching this movie. I'll go ahead and start real quick.
Yeah, I thought that was
So
cool
I
with
saw
this
this at-
perspective.
Yeah. Like so I watched this in the theater, right? Pretty close to opening night. It was maybe like the first week or something. And dude, the whole theater was just fixated on it. You know how sometimes like there's people talking or there's, weirdness or whatever. People aren't paying attention because whatever. This time everyone was locked in and the theater, you could hear a pin drop whenever it was really quiet, as people are getting scared and stuff. You heard all the jumping and all the screaming, and it was a great theater experience. You don't really get that too often. I don't really get that too often, so I think it just added to the movie for me. But what about you guys? Like, where were you watching it? How did you watch it?
I was
just.
yeah.
Go ahead, Sid.
Oh no, I was just in my living room on my couch watching it on my TV. I bought it right off the bat after you suggested it. And just late at night, it was so good. There are a couple scenes that just totally sold it for me. I was like, I'm totally in. And I watched it like 4 times after that. Yeah.
You watched it with
Did
your
you
mom
really?
too.
Yeah. She fell asleep, but she caught the first half of it. It is pretty long, like 2 hours is pretty long. So,
Sounds like that was the good half.
yeah.
All right. Anybody
Well,
else?
I was just laying in my bed at night, all the lights off, and it may not have been the theater, but to your point, James, like the first half or so, I was really locked in. Like, I loved like the switching of perspectives, right? This is from this person's perspective, and it gave you a chance to really kind of pay attention to those little details, and I was loving the buildup and the suspense. I was like really excited to see where everything was culminating. And then, like, second half, I just started sighing and groaning and was just like, oh, man, like, all of that for this. This is the payoff. Like, yeah. I just, that's just me, and I'm really usually not super critical when it comes to movies. I'm pretty easy to please. And, like, with horror, like, I love horror. I love gore. I love being scared. I just don't do jump scares well, and thankfully this movie was pretty sparse on the jump scares, and the ones that did happen just didn't get me at all. Wasn't scary kind of thing. So,
Okay, so I'm coming a mile away.
Well, I would.
Yeah. I don't
Just
know.
curious,
like
Sean.
clown face thing. Yeah.
What's some of your favorite like horror gore movies?
I mean, I couldn't say that I have like particulars that I could name. It's just the thing with like gore, it just doesn't bother me one bit, and like so like that scene where like he was like bashing his head into his partner or whatever, and I was just like, I loved it. I was like that, like more of that, and I love that he just kept going. You know what I mean? It was like so overkill. But like I like psychological horror a lot too. Like I like suspense, and but yeah, like I'm honestly not a huge movie buff either. So like I probably couldn't name favorites. I just know what I like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like a good mix of both psychological and a little, some gore here and there. And just to add real quick, that's what I was going to say about the that movie. One of the things I really did like about it though was that they used practical effects. Like I didn't see, from what I could tell, any CGI or any, and it was nice and chunky.
Well, from someone who hasn't seen it, maybe in the audience, like myself, in seeing the trailer, it would seem more of like a supernatural, maybe psychological thriller. So
yeah, it's good. It's a mixed
I only
bag.
saw I guess that one scene you're explaining was the only gore, maybe one of the only gore scenes. So really, I've already seen it.
There were a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of gore, but when there was gore, it was gory. It was pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
It was pretty.
It's pretty gory.
A lot of corn syrup.
Okay.
And maybe we should say right now, if you haven't seen this movie, maybe pause and go watch it, because we're going to spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna spoil some stuff.
Edit
For sure.
that to put it
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I'll throw that in the beginning.
Yeah.
What about you, Paul? How'd you watch it?
Yeah.
I watched it Sunday at 11 a.m. laying in bed. And
in the pitch dark.
Yeah.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
All the windows open.
Yeah.
Bright lights.
Like the first half, I was pretty interested in, but once Grandma showed up and stuff started not making sense, I was like,
Okay.
Exactly.
It's Aunt Gladys.
Aunt Gladys, yeah.
She ain't a grandma.
Yeah.
She's an old
like,
lady. Same difference.
they've never met her before or anything.
And I could tell they were
Just
like, they were like trying to like paint her as this like disturbingly kind of like weird, but like I just didn't get it. I was like, she just looks like a typical like 70s, like, like full vintage thrifty, just, too much makeup. I just didn't find her freaky at all to look at.
It kind of
to get into this.
Really, I thought she was super free. I would not let that lady.
I
in
wouldn't
my
let her
house
near my
for a
kids,
glass-
that's for sure,
glass
but-
of water. Hell no.
But I punch her in the face real quick.
Yeah.
Like there's a water faucet like over in the park.
Yeah.
Use the hose.
Use the water hose. Yeah. No, I was gonna say it's like funny, like what it reminded me of, like kind of just it's a bit different. But if you ever like heard King Diamond, like he has the album Them, which is like about a grandma coming, that the kids don't know, and then she's doing some freaky shit in the basement with demons and blood tea and stuff. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but I feel like the Them album was. I want to see that become a movie. That would be great.
Okay, well, I think we all answered where we were when we saw this movie. So, and I think you kind of gave some reactions, like you were saying, hey, the beginning was my favorite part, or maybe you didn't like the end too much, but
I did like how they told the story with the different perspectives, but I kind of felt like they did it that way to spend a little more time in that first half. So,
okay. Well, let me ask you. Okay, so let me ask all of you. Let me go back to the beginning of the movie, when the little kid starts the narration of like, this is a true story, and it happened in my town. Like, what were you guys thinking when that first happened? Because I tend to not like whenever there's like a narration like that, but I found it good. I didn't really mind it too much.
It was vague
kind of
enough.
disappointed that it's not a true story. They just she straight up lied to us at the very beginning of the movie.
Well, in a sense, it's kind of a true story if you think of the story is not true, but it's based off of like reality in a sense, and we can get to that in a little bit. But
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what are they? For someone who doesn't know, is this, going into it? Will you know? Should you look up some information about things, or just go into it blindly?
They make it kind of pretty obvious at one point what they're referring to.
Okay.
Which is one part I didn't like about the movie, but
okay.
I think, the over the head vision of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Wait, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
Okay, so I mean, I'll explain it. So
go into it.
There's a dream sequence where Archer, which is like Josh Brolin's character, right? Like he's sleeping in his son's bed, and he wakes up to a dream, right? And he picks up the picture, and all the kids are missing from the picture, from the baseball picture, and then he like sees his son running out the door with a Naruto, and then so he goes and follows him, and then where he ends up is like at his house exactly, but just kind of like on the other side. And then as he's looking up in the clouds, an AR-15, a huge AR-15 shows up, and it says 217. And I'm like, oh, missing kids, a village, a town that's in uproar. There's an AR-15. This is an allegory for school shooting.
Oh,
now,
I didn't get what the gun in the sky was about at all.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and it's not just school shooting. There's so many different elements that you look at. It's mainly just the movie's about trauma, really, and how people deal with it. And each particular character is sort of a method of dealing with trauma. Like you have the drug addict, you have the alcoholic, they have the one that's self-loathing. The father who wants to go out and answer the question, kind of like a like Lovely Bones type deal, and but as far as back to the gun thing, to me though, it's like you can tell that the director has a lot of influence by like I think in this way it's like Kubrick, having like those like hidden messages and so on and so forth.
Very Shining.
Yeah, and that I think the camera work was very Hitchcockian, which that's my favorite part of it. It reminded me of like Vertigo or like Psycho. But back to the gun, basically, it's like to me that was like, okay, like you had to like literally spell it out in the sky, like almost like it was like a skywriter. And I thought, what would have been a better approach. I'm not a director, so I can't really say, but if he was walking into the alternate house, and in the alternate house you saw like pictures of like diagrams of rifles and weapons, and then maybe like some like articles about school shootings that actually happened and things like that, would be to me like
the newspapers in the window for Alex's house, maybe have that be like full of gun 100% articles, and right?
And to me, that's a little more Kubrick. That's a little more, because Kubrick's not like, hey, this is exactly what's going on here, dog. And as a contrast to Barbarian, because Barbarian is also an allegory, but it's an allegory for like systematic misogyny. But you don't get that right off the bat when you're watching Barbarian. It's just you could take it as a straightforward horror film, but then when you think about like, what did I just watch? You kind of start picking up the pieces, like, oh, like this is about systematic misogyny, and each character is a different version of like how women relate to that in society, and so on and so forth.
Which is a great movie. I mean, that was his first movie that did this. And I don't know if, I guess Sean, Travis, and maybe Paul, you haven't seen that one, but it's worth a watch. Honestly,
I personally like. I liked Weapons, but I personally like Barbarian just a little bit better. Also, Barbarian's like short and sweet. It's like it's not a very long movie at all.
For Barbarian though, like they really baited you with Bill Skarsgård being in it, the actor that played Pennywise, and then he kind of immediately died. So I was so bummed.
That's my favorite part.
Really, no, I was so bummed when I saw it in theater. I literally left. I was so mad that Bill Skarsgård died. In the very beginning.
He's kind of like a creepy heartthrob, right?
Yeah,
but to get back to Weapons, like I didn't get that at all, Alex. Like whenever I saw the gun, I had no idea what I was supposed to be thinking at that point. All I thought was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like two dream sequences. First she has a dream, and then he has a dream, and they both see that, the lady, which we didn't know who it was at the time, but those two jump scares got me. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Both of them got me.
They didn't get me because, like,
nah.
I feel like it's tropey because that's what they did in the Babadook and like a few other.
I haven't seen that. So.
You look at the sky or the roof, and then there's like, it's like, but they were creepy. But I think also like there's a point in time where you've seen so many horror movies that you're kind of jaded with jump scares.
Yeah, you're like,
You
know
know,
when they're coming.
Same.
Like for me, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the in order for like a good jump scare at this day and age with me is like the music's got to be tight, right? Because the music's really gonna kind of
Yeah.
drive that along, and the music was good, but I
You
don't
watch
think it
movies
did.
so differently than I do.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I was gonna say for
I'm
me,
just
the
trying
sound.
to see if it makes sense. And if it
Yeah, if it
does,
makes
then I'm
sense.
like, okay, this one passes the test. Now is it good or not?
Well,
But
Paul,
this is-
I'm like you, Paul. Yeah, if that doesn't make sense in the train of logic and the plot hole, then I just get frustrated. I'm like, what am I even? I'm wasting my time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With that being
$20
said,
down the
pick it
train.
apart.
with that same
Yeah.
sorry,
Mhm.
with that being said, Paul, like, did you catch the hint with the gun in the sky? Did
Yeah,
that-
I saw it, but I was not really thinking about it because I really did. When I went into it, I had no idea what the movie was about. So I just started watching it and
Yeah.
trying to figure out the story, basically.
Not
so,
even a trailer.
without
You
even
didn't watch the
watching it.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
that's sometimes a really good way to watch a movie, though. Just no expectations whatsoever.
Love
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
if I liked it enough, I would go back and watch it for the things that you're pointing out. But I
Yeah.
can't torture myself
Not-
through
not the
that,
point.
so.
Okay.
Well, I got.
Yeah, not a movie
See-
I'd watch a second time.
I'm a big movie nerd, especially when it comes to horror films. So like, I'm already mathematically just predisposed to looking at what's the allegory of this movie, because like, you know, every horror story, one way or another, has some sort of allegory to it. Whether it's like you watching Halloween and it's just like, you know, be a good kid, don't have sex, and you won't get murdered. You know, like, you know, that's a
Right.
very simple one, but you know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
So, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I was gonna add one more thing though, since we were talking about the gun, and then I'll be done with it. But you noticed it said 217 on it. So that was a thing throughout the film, right? That's when the school shooting, or not the school shooting, but that's when the kids went missing.
When the kids ran out, yeah.
You'll see it on the alarm clock, and you see it big on that one. So I was kind of thinking about that for a second, and I had to Google it a little bit, but I came to the conclusion. So like so 217 is like, it's like 17 missing, 2 are still around. And so that's part of it. So 17 kids are gone, and then you have the teacher and Justine and Alex that are still around. And there's a James in there too. We just needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
But-
tweaker.
Yeah, I loved him, by the
Yeah.
way. I loved him so much.
I thought
But-
you played a really good drug addict.
And then,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that
Yeah.
he played a drug addict. Austin Abrams is like typecast as some like soft, pretty boy, and to see him as a
Yeah,
drug
he did-
drug
He
addict
did so
was
great.
awesome.
He was
Yeah.
my favorite part of the whole movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, then there's another thing is it's a Stephen King reference, because the room in The Shining was 217.
And I heard that when this film was released, a lot of the showtimes were at 217.
Probably. And then and then the last thing is, this is a little tinfoil hatty, but I just I went out there on a limb. So the Parkland High School shooting happened on February, which is the second month, and 17 people were killed.
Okay.
So anyway,
Dang,
that's
to
it.
bring a real life into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, you
Well,
did bring up a good point though. Like you're a huge horror fan. What about you guys? Do you guys usually watch horror movies? Is it something
I know
that
Sid
you...
does.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sid's
Check
wearing a
it.
Terrifier.
Yes, yes, I love
I
horror
think
movies.
the world is scary enough,
Yeah.
the real world. So I don't really need
Turn on
to
the
watch
news.
horror movies.
Preach.
But I mean, honestly, the movies that freak me out the most are the ones that have a hand or a foot in reality of people really treating each other terribly. When it gets to something with witches and stuff like that, then I kind of, not for me.
Tune
Although
out.
I will
Yeah.
tell you that I did love the Blair Witch Project, the 20 or so years ago. So
For
Yeah.
sure. Human.
Pretty
Yeah.
much same with Paul for me. I don't go out of my way often to watch movies in general, and that includes horror and every other genre. I'm just a very kind of like person that if someone else is like, hey, you want to watch this? I'll be like, sure. And again, I'm generally pretty easy to please too. And horror really doesn't bother me. I can stand it. But yeah, I wouldn't ever consider myself like a movie buff, a movie fan. So yeah, I'm just kind of like the casual moviegoer, if you will. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
What about you, Sid or Travis?
I too am like a more casual movie watcher. Like I don't go as deep dive as like Alex is doing, but horror does hold my attention, and I just can appreciate it. Like Paul was saying, like humans are the most scariest. I do love the horror movies that don't really have a paranormal aspect, kind of like Scream. Like, dude, that's freaking murderer out on the loose. Who done it? So
World's
Yeah.
deadliest animal, humans.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll get me, the serial killer.
Well, that's like
movies.
why Hostel was so effective,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
shit like that
that's
actually
a
does
freaky
happen.
movie.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For sure. So
Yeah, like the first Saw, I loved the first Saw movie. You know, they're just in
Oh
that
my
like
God.
grimy, dirty.
Dude, they jumped
bathroom,
the
and
shark
it's just,
so
like, all
hard at that
happening
series.
there.
The first one was great, but each time it's like, hey, let's make
After
this more
that,
extravagant thing that we
Yeah.
can use to murder people.
What about you, Travis?
But I agree, Saw was great.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of suspense or horror movies. I mean, I do like the ones that are more suspense based and more like, you know, as long as the sound, you know, scaping has been really like where the sounds are like really weird and creepy out. Like those ones are really more, you know, and you know, paranormal or kind of scientific stuff. That's calm. Would you consider Interstellar one of those type of?
Well, that's like sci-fi. You
So,
know? Yeah, it's
So-
more
Well, it's
sci-fi.
got some-
Wasn't that Christopher
no one-
Nolan though?
It
Yeah.
was Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. I don't know who he does to do his sound. I feel like it's Johann. What's his face? No, what's
I
his?
think.
But anyway, the guy,
Yeah.
the music in the Nolan movies are always really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in reference to the symbolism earlier, I mean, that's what one of the kind of spoiler shows I was watching was talking about. Even the 217, I think, even went deeper than that to like his brother or something that had died on February. So I think it's even deeper than that. But were there any other symbols
probably.
that were noticeable, or do you think they should be noticeable, or should it be for the diehards like Alex that wants to like, I saw that Easter egg, I'm gonna go poof, like, you know.
Well, yeah. So there were a lot of those things. Like one of them. Okay, so the director was in the TV show The Whitest Kids You Know. I don't know if anyone used to watch
That
that
one,
show,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
there
he
was like a
fucked up.
skit. There was like a skit that they did where he was eating a bunch of hot dogs, and he made reference to eating 7 hot dogs in a day, as like a joke. But then in the movie, the two guys, you know, the principal and his husband, they're like sitting down to eat hot dogs, and there's 7 hot dogs on the tray,
Yeah.
which looked crazy, but that's the reason why that was there. So
Yeah.
there's stuff like that, and then, you know, like Alex was talking about, there's even other symbolism of like, or metaphors of like, you know, alcoholism, you know, and or just, you know, when the kid is living in his house and he's kind of, you know, under duress because he has to take care of this family, and you know, there was a lot of stuff that went into it, but I didn't read a whole lot of it.
And look, this is a horror movie, like you said, but like there definitely were some like comedy adjacent parts, you know, where it was like, oh, it wasn't taking itself too seriously, you know what I
Right.
mean? I
Yeah.
think the director played
The
into that.
comedy was awesome. I love all of the comedy.
And that's what I liked about it too. That's what I liked about Barbarian as well. It's like, and that's why, like, you know, Sam Raimi is so good to me, because Sam Raimi makes it's like a straightforward kind of horror film, but it's like goofy all the way through, and I appreciate that, because I think today people treat themselves way too seriously. Like when you're thinking about like a Hereditary, Ari Aster, stuff like that. Like, which I like those movies too, but it's just sometimes just like can we like, you know, take the piss out of it like we used to do in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
But
Right.
but it sounds like
Make it a little
Sean
corny.
and Paul. Sounds like Sean and Paul both thought it was like way goofier than maybe us three did. Because I thought it was like funny, but I didn't think it was like corny or hokey or, you know.
I think
stupid
it
or
was
anything because
intentionally
of it.
corny in certain aspects.
Yeah,
Like, you know, spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
it's just done well.
You know, spoiler alert, if we're talking about like, you know, the last scene when the kids rip Gladys apart, like it was definitely just
Yeah.
it was very very like you know, Dawn of the Dead, you know, kind of just like super like, you know, super splatty.
What was interesting to me is like, and what was interesting to me that was like when the kids like all got all, you know, feral and animalistic like that, I was actually a little bit intimidated. I was like, okay, these are like really just like crazy kids. But then when the spell, like, you know, when it kind of broke on like the parents, for example, or Paul the cop, the druggie James,
Well,
like,
Paul was dead by that point.
none of those, right? But like when they did like feral out, you know, and like freak out,
Yeah.
like I never felt like intimidated by their.
But the
you
kids,
know,
you're just talking about like
performance.
a stampede of children.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
terrifying.
But I mean, the
Flying
adult
through the
was just like
windows.
typical kind of.
But just
Yeah,
the
it
way
was,
that
like,
Gladys
shining a
reacted
little
to
bit of
And I was
'Cause
just sitting there
Yeah.
picturing it all, like, just imagine if this happened in my house, like all these kids, like, just
Right.
busting through the whole house, like it was
Yeah.
No,
crazy.
thanks.
But I enjoyed that part.
Yeah, no,
so.
that was wild.
Yeah, and I love how the fact that
Yeah.
they're busting through these damn windows and not a single one gets a cut.
Right,
Like
right.
you're thinking they would
right.
just be
That's
all
what I
ripped
mean,
up and
yeah.
torn apart.
They
but
just
yeah.
go straight to
But-
devouring the witch.
did anyone else think like, oh, I bet I could take these 15 kids or whatever. Like,
Fuck
I,
no.
you know,
No.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they're gonna be biting my
Maybe
damn
just
fingers and
think, like-
everything. I'm like, I have a you know a 9-month-old baby, and she tries to bite my finger off every day, and that's like, I'm just like, that's, you know, kids, you know, the only thing about kids is they know that they're smaller and weaker, but if you got a group together and just they had absolutely
Yeah. It's no
They're-
survival mentality.
they're
Yeah,
dangerous
forget
little
about it.
monkeys.
When I was in high school, we had a thing called the Swarm, and it was all the little guys on the wrestling team would attack one bigger guy on the
Yeah.
wrestling
I love
team,
that.
you know, in a practice. And we called it the Swarm because it would be all the little kids like going and trying to grab one guy, you know.
that's exactly what it was. Except
Yeah.
they ripped her arms and legs off and
Yeah.
tore her head off.
Ate
You
her.
know,
But then, like,
Yeah.
for example, when, like, oh, go ahead.
no, good. I'm trying
I
not
was
to
going
take
to
too much
say,
real
like,
estate.
when Josh Brolin's character Archer, like, was taking on James, the druggie, right in the house, like, and he kept like fighting him off, and he would like kind of get him, and then he would like
Yeah.
wake up again. You know, it was like 10 times, and Josh Brolin's character never felt like he was actually scared. He just kept throwing him off, and then being all like, okay, whatever, and then you come back and do it, and like there was just, I don't know, it just didn't feel authentic. You know what I mean? I'm like, this dude isn't
I
even
get you.
fazed by this. He's just,
That's also
yeah,
part
you
of
know?
like, I think his characteristic is that sense of determination though, because
I guess, right? Yeah,
It
Yeah,
was
but,
the
like-
spell. It
yeah.
was the spell, right?
no,
Like,
we're
I mean, it
talking
gave
about
him-
Josh Brolin. We're talking about Archer.
Yeah, this was
Like,
before he had the spell.
Because
yeah.
if we're talking specifically, he's basically saying like, so James the addict kept running after him. Like that part was believable to an extent in the supernatural quality of him being. under
That's
the
all I
spell.
was saying. I was talking about
Yeah,
him
right.
coming
So,
back for more.
Correct,
Yeah.
right. But I think he's more talking about how Archer's just like, you know, just like, oh,
Yeah, he just kept throwing him off, and like he
Yeah.
didn't actually scared. He didn't seem scared by it. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
But speaking of funny parts too, I thought that part where like when he had the dream with the gun and everything, and he woke up and he's just like, "What the fuck?" It's like, I thought that was really
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it was just
Honest reaction.
There was
Yeah,
like
that
20
was
what the
realistic.
fucks in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a bunch of people that said it, you know, that said what the fuck. But during that part, I remember specifically in the theater, the person next to me said, "What the fuck?" And then he said it on the screen exactly like right after. So it made sense.
like
I've definitely done that after waking up for a nightmare. You know, you're just like, the fuck, man. You know, what was that?
yeah, especially a particular one that made absolutely no damn sense. You're just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
That's me like every other night.
Well, speaking of, let's see if this movie made sense. I know Paul said that it really didn't. Not to him anyway, but maybe we can answer some questions here because I'm going to just go through a few things. Started from the beginning. We kind of went to the end, but we're going to go full circle here. So all those kids run out of their house. You kind of see that, and there's a song playing. I don't know what song is playing while that's happening, like in the very beginning, but there's an interesting choice.
I think
Fear the
it was a
Darkness.
George Harrison song.
Yeah, it's called Fear
Really?
the Darkness. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Okay. So then you kind of see that happening and you don't know why. The school closes down. There's, you know, memorial flowers and stuff there. And you're just kind of trying to figure out like, okay, there's some kind of mystery here. I don't know if there's a killer on the loose. I don't know what, but like you guys were all in at that point, right? Like to me, the premise is the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
For sure.
honestly, my first impression though is that it was like going to be sci-fi. I thought those kids just got like
Really?
zoomed up into space, you know, beam me up,
Yeah.
Scotty style. Personally, but
Hey, maybe
See,
that's
where
an
the movie
alternate
lost
ending
me. I was
there.
like, how are you hiding 17 kids for that long? And they're not
Yeah.
even, you know, searching the house and all that stuff, and the parents.
Dude, I
are
have
there.
so many problems with
They
There
kind
that.
of
were
explain
so,
that.
there were
Wait,
so
so
many
they
red
lost-
flags going off that I was like,
They lost you in the first 10 minutes?
No, that was later on in the movie. Not the kids, but I'm saying the reaction of like the cops and stuff. Like
Uh-huh.
it was like, oh yeah, you know, we don't search their house. Like the kids just walked out back when the cops came. 2 cops came in to search the house, and then they leave and the kids go back in the house or whatever.
Well, yeah. So wait, so let me clear that up. That was a spell that she did to
Right,
get the
I
kids to
understand
to run away and then to come back.
And that
While
was
they were
that
gone.
was
Right,
actually
But
not.
I'm
they
saying that
cleaned
the
up.
cops
Well, I
wouldn't
didn't
be all
catch
over
that
the
part.
place looking, you know.
Well, but we don't know where they hid.
And that was also like
And here's
before the cops ever came.
here's
That
my
wasn't
opinion
as they
with
were
that
coming.
is because I had the same issue as you, Paul. Like, these cops suck. You know what I mean? Like, what are they? Why
They
are they
suck,
not doing
yeah.
like
Well,
the
the
job?
cops do suck.
And that's true of most cops anyway. But what I found interesting is once
Shots fired.
the reveal came in, and once the reveal came in, once it was about witchcraft, and I understood that aspect, I was like, okay, perhaps this spell, right, went much farther, had a wider spread effect than just, you know, what we thought. Maybe the whole town, in a sense, was kind of sort of, you know, under a spell, right, including the law enforcement, you know, so that it was like everyone was just kind of walking around in a daze, so that, you know, it made her job of hiding everything easier. Just maybe something to think about, you know? I don't know. Yeah.
See, I had this whole headcanon around that, Sean. I thought like, okay, this Aunt Gladys has been doing this for a long time.
Can
You
tell.
know,
Yeah.
and she kind of was like a step ahead of the police that just had no clue because there was no evidence really except all the ring cameras and stuff. So I was just thinking, okay, she's just a step ahead because she's done this stuff before and she knows
Right.
kind of the steps to get around the police.
Right. She's not just this like new sorcerer on the block. She's, like you said, seasoned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
I
like
think the
clairvoyant in that
story
sense
would have
and
worked
knows.
better if it was like done back in the day before electronics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
if it was
mean,
like 1970s, might make more
yeah,
sense.
they wanted
I agree.
to introduce the ring cameras and stuff, but you know, with all the technology going on and all the neighborhoods that have cameras everywhere and stuff like that, like, you know, come on. Like you
I
had
just
that
keep running
same
out of
thought
house
too,
and no
Paul.
other cameras are
Yeah.
picking them up on the streets and stuff like that. You
But
can't
it's
tell where they're
it's
going.
suburbia. It's suburbia, right? Like they're not going to have cameras just on the street corner like
No.
like in New York.
Yeah,
or in
people have
Russia.
them on their houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can go get that video. I mean, again, I'm sitting there like just kind of going over this in my head, like, that's not that going happen, you know, stuff like that. So,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I
it is kind of
definitely
a.
am a joy kill. So,
Paul, are you the type
No,
that's
no,
like,
yeah.
there's no real dinosaurs in Jurassic Park?
I
don't believe
it. No, we can do that movie next. Those aren't Jurassic age.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Accurate.
How do we know this? How do we know that they looked like that? They probably had feathers.
I am a
which is probably
geologist,
true.
you know. So,
True.
Yes,
but
yes. Yes, correct.
to Paul's point, though, too. I mean, I get what he's saying. It is kind of like a double-edged sword because it's like it's definitely a plot point, right? The ring cameras come in as a plot point, like okay, because that's how Archer was able to navigate
Yeah.
kind of where the center of everything was, right? But at the same time, to Paul's perspective, if you're thinking about it realistically, so many more crimes get solved today because somebody saw like it was a traffic camera or it was somebody else had a camera going on or it was a business camera, like, you know, so like it would make sense that there's like more footage of them than just them running away from their ring cameras. Like they would be caught on other cameras from people's houses and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, I mean,
I get
guess
that to
I
an
just-
extent too.
I
But
guess I just thought, you know,
it's
there
a
was
horror
enough-
film. You got to suspend disbelief too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
there was enough plausible deniability on that side or whatever, but
I disagree. I kind of I try to say okay, that's not realistic, but you know, I'll keep
But
going.
you believe
with it.
in
Well, it
witches.
was really
I mean,
realistic
at
as a
some
bunch
point, I
of
was like,
kids ripping a woman
this is
apart.
so ridiculous. There's a a witch comes and visits. I'm like, really? Like this is
There's
how
a
you're gonna
witch doing
kids
spells?
disappear and everything. You got people hooked, and then you're just gonna bring a witch and go, oh, the witch did it.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, because I was just thinking, like, man, the police don't solve every crime. You know, like the dad, like you said, Archer, he's doing more police work than the police is actually
Right.
doing.
Well, it seemed like those police in that particular town seemed to be very incompetent as well.
Yeah.
Like, and especially with the fact that Paul. Oh, there was a Paul. There's a Paul. There's a James, and there's Alex.
Yeah, and Paul and James. Yeah.
Paul the cop. You know, like he was preoccupied with his alcoholism and cheating on his wife, and then when he got stuck with the first time he got stuck with needles.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude.
that was also a hilarious part
That
too when he
was
opens.
gnarly.
He's like, oh, like, he just stabbed me in the face.
I'm surprised he didn't get shot, dude. Like,
Nah, shit, I might have. Yeah, I mean, I thought
shooting in the air,
and that's what they ramped you up for that too, because like you see him take the camera off and he unlocks the 12 gauge before he even like takes off.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh man, he's about to shoot this kid dead, and it just doesn't happen. That might have been a little more interesting, but
I was a little not happy with the cop turning off his camera and not just owning up to the fact that he, punched the kid once.
Well, he was a bad character though. Like he was not a. I think that
I
was
know,
him. He was
but
just a shitty character.
ACAB.
You should be upset about that, I guess.
Well,
yeah, I mean, because it kind of shines a light on like, oh, this shit probably happens all the time.
Well, and then also the fact that he went to his, the commish or the captain who is his father-in-law.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm like, if we don't say anything about this, it'll go away. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's a
That
commentary.
happens.
Back to the commentary about it, like being kind of about a school shooting and a trauma and things like that too. Is I think that he was illustrating that point, because if you look at something like the what was the one that happened in near San Antonio, the school shooting?
oh, I don't know.
Uvalde.
I remember it, but
Like
yeah,
in Uvalde,
that sounds right.
the cops didn't do shit, basically, right? You had citizens, you had actual citizens trying to go in and save those kids, and so I think that was kind of a commentary on that too. It's like, oh, they got this incompetent police force can't be bothered to actually, they're too preoccupied with their own bullshit and protecting themselves that they can't go and do what they need to do.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
Another perspective I thought that was, would you not think that the witch is like kind of got a spell over like the whole town, or kind of influencing
Right.
keep people?
That's kind of my point. Is like,
Well,
I think it was, yeah.
She did her spell by using somebody's blood. So how's she going to put a spell on the whole town unless it's, I don't know, maybe a different... Alex had told me it was a different spell, and she, he's going to...
Actually, she used her own blood.
Yeah, it was her own blood and other people's
Own blood and hair.
And another thing,
Hair.
to Paul
Yeah,
called
hair,
it out,
there
but
you
to
go.
that point, she's as the witch.
But I
is
thought
the
it was
witch.
actually going down the road of because like there was all that, like if you looked in the background there in school, they were talking about parasites. There was the parasite stuff
So I was
on
about to get to
TV,
it.
right? So that's,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and there's all the stuff with the blood and the needles. So I was thinking like, okay, this is like a bloodborne parasite, that there's something going. I really thought that's kind of the direction it was going, and so that's when the witch reveal came in. I was like, really? Like that's what I felt very empty and disappointed. I thought the parasite thing could have been
got
cooler,
tricked.
Yeah.
Well, I think it
Yeah,
was.
and-
I think she was the parasite, right? Like I think she was
Yes,
still.
yeah, I get it.
They were
Yeah.
still kind of likening it to her, even though she was a witch. But
yeah.
yeah, that was there.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's the to go, woo woo with it, like, since it is an allegorical kind of thing. She's like the
Right.
the
She
embodiment.
was the hijacking.
Well, she's the embodiment of age old grief and trauma, right? Like generational trauma. So like, which is parasitic, and that's kind of like the parallel that they're brawling in, because
Good
it
point.
goes into every facet of your life and controls you, right? Like,
I
and-
think about that.
yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You have to think too hard this movie for me then, man.
well,
I don't know if you have to, but I like that there is like deeper analysis you
Yeah,
can
you
do.
can.
But I didn't think any of that
there.
stuff the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
like not at all.
Well, and it's one of the things though. It's like going back to what I was saying about Barbarian, is like that's kind of what my critique of this movie was. Is Barbarian, you don't have to look into the extra allegorical aspects of it. It's just kind of a straightforward horror film, and it makes a little more sense because it's a little more linear. And I think to Paul's point, where I kind of agree with him, is that like it's like it has this non-linear story that kind of holds up pretty well until the end, and you're just kind of like, what the fuck. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. Like, what was all this exposition for?
Yeah, and if you're into like weird, freaky movies that make you think, or or maybe just unique movies in a sense anyway, like it would have that kind of ending, then like that makes sense. Kind of like Death Proof by Tarantino. Like the end of it's just like, like the girl, nobody dies, the girls catch up to Kurt Russell and they just like smash his face like a pumpkin. You know what I mean?
Bro,
Like,
Yeah.
I haven't
We're
seen
in
that
the
one
movie.
yet.
Oh, so
They're
good.
spoiling now.
Spoiler.
sorry, dude.
Well, wait. So were you guys talking about the vignettes, like where it's where it says like
Yes.
Justine, where it says
yeah, the segments.
okay, okay, yeah, because I thought those were done really well. Like I it's like in Barbarian, so he did it. Zach Krieger did it that first time, but and did it again with this movie. But I felt like it really like unveiled the story in a great way. Like you see the same period of 3 days, but by seeing her perspective on it first, the teacher, and then seeing the dad, and then seeing the principal, and then seeing the drug addict, and then seeing the kid, like it fills in that story like in the perfect way. I thought,
well,
just kind of revealed
that was
stuff.
the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think both Sean and I said that was what we enjoyed, but
it was like that. It was very cohesive until you got to Gladys, and then it just kind of. I think it's not, to me, Gladys and all that makes sense. But one thing I did notice though is the tone completely changes. It's just like, it's like, what the fuck is going on? All these people, it's like you're really kind of getting drawn into these characters and like their trauma, like we know what's going on, and then all of a sudden, like, homegirl shows up and cuts her hand,
and it's all about her.
Yeah. It's like, and then kind of like, if you're building up these relations to these kind of people for the end to kind of like not necessarily, it feels a little lackluster in a sense, because the first part of it comes off kind of almost like a drama. And you're really invested, like if you're watching like Traffic or something like that, you get really invested in all of the people, and then for the end to kind of just be like, just go like full out supernatural, and then it kind of becomes more of almost a different movie towards the end.
It was two movies exactly.
Yeah.
See, I just feel
if I like had to
opposite.
rate, I don't know, like first half of the movie, like if I just rate like beginning exposition all the way through pre-Gladys, like 7.5 or 8 out of 10. It was really good.
Pre-Gladys.
And then after, and then after Gladys shows up, I'm like 3 or 4 out of 10 at best.
Well, it also might have been better if there was less Gladys in general. Like Gladys is there, but she's like just kind of in the background. I don't want,
right.
It's like Michael Myers doesn't have a backstory. He's just this badass dude that goes and murders people with his bare hands, and somehow is walking, but when you turn around, he's right behind you. Like, there's no explanation for him. It's just, and that's what kind of makes him cool. And I think if Gladys, if it was just a little less like, oh, this, she just shows up and she's still kind of mysterious. Like, you really don't know much about her. But the last half is like, hey, let's do the full, like, dossier on Gladys and tell you kind of everything and how it happened. I think so. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to shit on the movie completely. There's many things I liked about the movie, but that, again, comparing it to kind of Barbarian, like Barbarian didn't really do any of that, and it was a short and sweet film, and it was just kind of like, this is what's happening, here's the monster, face the monster. You know what I mean? It's like there wasn't as much kind of backstory, and I think with this, on this point, Zach Krieger kind of like, I think he's like, yeah, Barbarian was great and everybody loved it, let's make it an additional 40 minutes and then kind of
kick it up a notch.
And I think, I don't want to say he failed, but I did think it did kind of take a little bit of that, oomph out of it in that way. Because like retrospectively, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I did like the movie as a whole, but the end of it was a little bit harder for me, in a sense, because I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, how did this, like, just kind of, the other shoe drops like real quick,
See, maybe this is like the difference in watching it alone versus watching it like with a big group of people, because, like talking about Gladys, right? Like the first time you see Gladys is when she walks into the principal's office.
Right? Yeah.
And I swear there's this chick that was like a few rows in front of us or whatever, and she's like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah.
Like just seeing her in a normal setting.
Well, she was definitely off-putting.
Red flag,
she's a very
sure.
off-putting person.
Off-putting,
sure.
I'll give her that.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, for sure. Creepy. Yeah.
It's
not
like, I wouldn't want her around my
scary, but
kids.
just-
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want this person anywhere near me or my family.
I thought, to talk about creepy parts though, what I thought was like one of the creepiest things I saw is like when Justine like fell asleep drinking in front of the house and the door opens and it's just like the one with the scissors.
Dude.
And she like, and you like, this is perfect. This is, to me, is more scarier than jump scares or anything. This is actually kind of creeped me out a bit, is like, because you don't see her, but you hear the back door open. And you're just like, oh, what the fuck is going to happen? She's going to stab her in the throat.
I agree.
Like,
That was well done.
So
Like,
was it the mom that cut
Yes, that's the mom.
Justine's hair? Okay, I was kind of
Yes.
confused on that part. I'm like, who's mom? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she she sent the dad with her, as like a puppet to go to the school, and then she sent the mom out there to go cut the hair.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She basically used the parents as quote unquote weapons, but they were more just like doing her petty bidding and stuff, and keeping the distraction off herself, which that was a huge element that I had such a hard time buying into. It was like, this big scene where Gladys is sitting at the table with Alex, and it's like, no one can know I'm here. Do you understand? Like, no one can know I'm here. And then it turns into this, like, she's like a sort of a public figure where she's going and like talking to the people in the school, and she didn't seem like she was trying to hide all that much at the end of the day, right? I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, it felt a little.
Yeah, but I thought there was like a good reason for that, because she said not to say anything to anyone in the school, but then the principal was trying to get the parents to come in, and so she went in after that, and he was going to go talk to the parents. So it kind of just kept escalating to the point where she had to like kill him and kill the teacher.
Yeah. Well,
because they knew too much, I guess.
Yeah. Again, not trying to harp on it too much, but like, have you seen Suspiria? Has anybody seen Suspiria?
No.
Nope.
Okay, well, I don't want to
spoil it for us.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but basically,
it's on my list though. Yeah.
The killer is off screen. So like you, and then at the end you find out kind of like, oh, that's what's happening, And then so it's like, I think that it draws you in more in that way. Speaking of Trav, so like movies that you like that have really cool scores, like you should check out Suspiria in 1977. I think is when it came out, the original one, not the remake. That one, like, it might be a little too creepy for you, but it's got a really good score.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think that was my issue with it. It's just kind of like, it's like, it's almost like he's trying a little too hard to be, like Kubrick or somebody that kind of falls short in a way. Because it's like, I don't need you to explain absolutely everything to me. I just kind of like give you this force of nature, and then like, you explain kind of towards the end. Now, I didn't have a problem with them sitting down and telling him like that did. I think that was good for the story. But I did like the fork part too.
Oh, that was crazy.
That's probably honestly, out of all the I guess quote unquote bloody scenes, like that was the one that bothered me the most, because it wasn't particularly gory. It was just the idea of like you not having control over your own body, and we probably shouldn't be doing this on camera.
Yeah. The one where he's like beelining for Justine at the gas station creeped me the fuck out.
Oh, with the big bulgy eyes. Yeah.
Dude, his eyes were
beeline. Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from.
Yeah, and you didn't know what was on his face or on his eyes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that they were in Mickey Mouse shirts, maybe just to kind of like clock the part of the story. I just thought that was a weird little Easter egg, them in Mickey Mouse shirts. So
there were a couple of shirts. So the principal had a Mickey Mouse and his husband had a Minnie Mouse.
Why I wonder why. So
that's good. I think it was just like fun couple shirts. It's just like they're sitting down eating hot dogs together.
And all those hot dogs. Yeah. Another hot dog callback.
Like me and my wife, we wear matching shirts all the time. So that's just
totally normal, Sid. I mean, they do it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, James and I wear matching shirts.
Yeah. Nice shirt, guys.
Thanks. All right.
Well, James, I was going to ask you before if you could just tell me, like, when you're going into this type of movie, and you whether it's a horror or just a suspense, or are you looking at the cinematography and how the script is playing out, or because some movies is like just hack and slash, there's no story, right?
And I don't like watching those movies. But
Jason Goes to Hell.
And I don't even know if I like Saw in movies like that, because I'm not like into like torture porn and gore and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I haven't watched the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, but this movie I thought was very well written, very well scored, and then I was just a fan of the premise, right? And I didn't really feel the same way as some other people on the call, where like the tone changed. To me, it's like the perfect blend of thriller and comedy, done right. Where I feel like a lot of movies don't do it right.
My buddy said dumb scary. Like, dumb scary.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So here's what my friend said. I told him that you're recommending watching it, and I was gonna do a podcast on it. And his text to me was, "Bring me on the podcast. Weapons was so dumb."
And now for our special guest.
People have spoken.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to our next segment because we weren't going to really go like into a recap or anything. That's just way too long. So
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about the movie pretty well. So let's just play this little game before we go, which is one-line pitch. So everyone's going to have 10 seconds to just pitch a fake sequel, prequel, or reboot. So what would you have an idea for this movie if you had to pitch one of those? I can go ahead and start. Because I felt like the druggie tweaker, James, that he was probably the best part of the movie for me. He was like the funniest part for sure.
Best
I
actor
wanna
too.
See, I
Agreed.
want to see the prequel, spend a little bit more time with him, and
That'd be fun.
just see how is he, breaking the law in some way? Because like I loved when he was like having that conversation on the phone, trying to get money while trying to open car doors
Yeah.
the whole time.
And the way and what he was saying was like such a like meth head thing to say, or addict thing to say, because like
Straight out of the playbook.
His pressured speech, and
Yeah.
or
got this job interview. I just need some money for
or
the shoes.
when he was at the liquor store and he asked her the same question once and as she was going out, like he totally completely forgot. But yeah.
yeah.
All right, so that would be my pitch, is a prequel with James. What about you guys?
What about if
Sid-
the witch didn't die, they never found the kids? It's like kind of setting it up for a prequel, but zombie kids in space. Sci-fi. Turn it into a sci-fi.
Wait, prequel?
No,
Prequel
no, I
or
mean
sequel?
Sequel. Yeah.
Or like a retelling,
Yes.
like this is all just a dream that a kid had in the spaceship.
Yeah.
I would do a reboot, but I have no clue on what to do with the second half of the movie, because if I knew, I would write it and be, rich. But that's what I'm looking for, something that makes sense, kind of, but
That there was no
is believable, kind of, but again, that second half just lost me. I need somebody to write a better movie in the second half.
How
I
about
wonder
this?
What would have made it more believable?
How about this, Paul? Like, so
I have an
basically,
idea.
what happens is there was no witch, and everybody was just, everybody was just paranoid, and then
Running to a sleepover?
and then at the end
Yeah.
of it, everybody's at a sleepover, and at the end of it,
Everybody's on drugs. Yeah.
and at the end of it, they have like a Departed style shootout at the end where everybody just shoots each other, and then that's the end of the movie.
Give me something different.
All right. Hear
Sean,
me out
I
on
think
this.
Sean has it.
Here we
To
go.
piggyback off Paul, okay? This is the redux of weapons, but Alex doesn't survive. He's not the only one left. It's all the kids are missing, right? Because then heats off of Gladys, right? No one's suspecting that as like he's the only one that survived, right? She can stay incognito. It's an extra child to feed off of the life force energy of, right? And it's like, it's more mysterious because then it's like all the kids disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the heat is all on the teacher, and she can just lay low and do her thing in the house without being bothered, right?
Yeah,
All right.
I think for sequel rise for me though, like I think that it would probably be like the most obvious thing I could think of is that like she was part of a coven, and this is happening all over America. And
Right. Maybe more
And then-
widespread. Yeah.
and then the
I
next
like
one
that.
could be an actual school shooting. She just forces a school shooting, and then she's a blood witch, and she
Whoa.
just takes all their souls or something like that. Like there's so many different avenues you can go with horror flicks. But yeah, I think that something like that,
Yeah.
and then since Archer and Justine survived, they team up like Phantasm style, and they go across the country trying to catch up to these covens and
There you
kill
go.
them.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's-
Travis, yeah.
That's the first time I heard you mention why, you didn't really highlight what I heard from another perspective was that being a witch. You guys mentioned it, yeah, but like, what was she doing? Well, you said she's feeding off the life force of the kids, but why? But how old is she?
Well, without spoiling too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and you could definitely go into that from that perspective too. Is like you find more lore on the Coven, how long they've been operating. You could trace it back to like 1600s Massachusetts or whatever. You know, there's so many
Maybe
different.
she
cool
used to
things
be
you
a
got.
cop, and that's how she knows how to outsmart them
Yeah.
so well.
Maybe she still is a cop, and she's the best cop.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
cop?
The witch cop. Ah, that's what that.
Are you a
Weapons
co-op?
too. Witch cop.
Are you a fucking co-op?
You gotta tell me.
You fucking knack.
You can't.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so last segment. Everyone just give their 1 out of 5 star review, and whether someone should skip it or stream it. So you're basically saying, you know, hey, skip it or stream it. Here's the reason why. You're either watching it or not watching it, and then 5 star or 1 out of 5 star review.
Does it have to be a whole number?
Yes, technically, because if we put this into the Letterbox app, it only takes whole numbers.
Okay.
I'd say
All right, who wants
4
to go
out
first?
of 5.
All right, Sydney,
4
4 out of 5.
I would stream it just to see what all the hype's about. I think it's a good time. Very entertaining. Even, you know, to have your own opinion to see if you like it or not. Yeah.
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 Just be part of the discussion.
Yeah. Get in
All
on
right.
it.
And who wants to go next?
I give it a 2 out of 5. But
All right.
I would say stream it because I was entertained for the majority of the movie. So, you know, if you have 2 hours to kill and you're not paying a lot for it, go for it.
The dollar amount
I'm
matters
pretty much happy.
in your vote.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
12,
Always.
20? No, 12, maybe $6.
No,
Yeah.
no. I would say $4. Okay. Above that, forget it.
I paid $7 for it on renting.
Yeah, I paid
overpaid.
$7 for it. I don't feel it was worth my $7, but
Okay.
I'm
I
pretty
feel like it
much
was worth my
gonna go along.
$7.
Wait, so what
don't
would you
know.
do, Sean? Are you skipping it?
That's
streaming
how
it?
we should rate these, by how much you would pay to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say skip it, and it's gonna be a 2 out of 5, just because, like Paul said, the beginning was interesting enough, and I liked it, but fell apart completely at the end, and wouldn't watch it again. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody for that reason. So.
All right, what about you, Alex?
I want to hear Travis's. No, I'm just joking. Honestly, so like initially what I actually wrote down, I did it in tens, and I'll give you my 1 out of 5, but I did a 6.5 out of 10.
That's
It was
what I had.
Out of 10? Wait, it's 1 out of 5.
no, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying what I wrote down last night on my
Okay,
notes
gotcha.
on
Okay.
a 10 scale was 6.5 out of 10.
3 out of 5.
So out of yeah, no, I would say probably a 4 out of 5. I'll give it an extra, you know, and it's because no, yeah, that would be way too much. I'd say 3 out of 5. And the reason is it's same thing as like I, unlike Paul and Sean, I enjoyed the movie altogether, right? Like the ending was wacky, but it was still fun. You know what I mean? Like there was, you know, with the kids and everything like that. So as a full-on movie, you know, like you don't have to be ADHD in your head about like the deeper meanings of it. You know, if you're into that stuff, definitely, you know, it's worth it to watch it. But just as a movie that's fun to watch and you like a little gore and a little suspense, you know, is good. And I think the music too, you know, I mentioned it earlier, but I was going to say is like just one last thing about that. I did like the sound design because every segment almost seemed like it had its own soundtrack and everybody had their own episode in a sense. So there's cool little things like that, especially if you're looking at it from like a, you know, how it was made, you know, how the sausage was made kind of a deal. You know, there's little fun things. So I would definitely, I'd say 3 out of 5.
And stream it, right? Like you
And stream it. Yeah, and
recommending
stream it. Yeah. You should. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'd probably watch it again, to be honest with you. I don't think it'd be my favorite movie, but I'm probably after this, I'll probably go put it on again just to watch it, just to recap on everything.
Okay.
And Travis, you want to go before I get?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for me would be, you know, hearing the perspectives there. That's why I do love cinema and the movies, because it comes back to like, oh, here's two friends of ours that both said, one said it wasn't worth my 7, one said it was worth the 7. Like it can just watch movies, like just watch them, like, right? You know, I don't ever like to really harp on it, but you know, I'd say a 3 out of 5, but I'm waiting until it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wait on Netflix.
Good man.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I I'm probably the biggest fan here because I really love the movie. I saw it twice. I would definitely see it again. I would recommend that someone stream it. And it's for a lot of the things that Alex said, you know, the cinematography, the sound, you know, the score, the acting was just incredible. I loved the story. It held my attention the entire time. And even though I did laugh out loud, so did everyone else in the theater, you know, and everyone was just having a good time with it, kind of in the way of like you're just watching something with your friends, you know.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, no, I love that about it. What were you gonna say, Alex?
No, I was gonna say just try not to take it too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, like
4 out of 5.
Just have fun with it. Don't have any expectations watching it. You know.
Yeah, I'd say 4 out of 5, and I would always recommend it because I just feel like it's something to like that could go either way. You know, people could be into it or not.
Yeah. Well, and for Alex, he's come in maybe a little more biased, liking the director. You know, some people come into these knowing, oh, I know this director. I know what type of, you know, so you might lean towards liking it more than some, like, I don't know the director, so I'm just going to watch it as a layman, right? Just, I don't know. Does it all, or am I going to start doing something else halfway through, right? Like, you know, like I start cleaning the garage. Okay. You know,
and I actually think this is a really good panel for that, because if you think about it, you got Sid and James who actually really like it. You know, you got me who I like it, but I also like I'm critical of it, and then you got 2 people who didn't like it, and you got somebody who didn't see it. So it's a pretty it's a pretty
all
equal,
across the board.
Got the whole spread.
Yeah.
I had to represent the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, or watch it for James. That's what you should do.
Yes.
Watch it for James. Watch it for the addict.
The tweaker.
I will come to James's house and watch it with him, since it'll be free for me.
Oh no, we're talking about James in the movie. But yeah, watch it for that James too. Yeah, watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully I'll give it to you for free.
Okay.
Sign in.
I'll just come over there.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, awesome
dang.
discussion, guys. And then Sid, I think you were gonna get us out of here, right?
I guess that's a wrap for episode 1, guys. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of the Cinema So Far podcast. Let us know what we should cover next, if you saw Weapons, what you thought about it, and what has been your favorite scary movie you've seen this year so far. See you next week.
Spooky season's almost over.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
All right.
Comment
Love it.
below.
Smash the like button for the algorithm.
Yes. I think this will be available on all podcast platforms once you see this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it should be.
I'm looking forward to
if
it.
we do our job right.
Or you might have to get it on Napster. I don't know.
Love it. Napster.